For a long, long time, the idea of launching rockets from British soil felt more like science fiction than actual fact. Well, that's all starting to change. Today, we're going to dig into a really huge milestone for the UK's ambitions in space, and it all centers on one homegrown company. You see, it's a pretty simple statement, but wow, is it a powerful one. For years now, the UK has been a powerhouse at building satellites. But getting them into space, that always meant shipping them off somewhere else. This is the crucial first step to changing all that. And this brings us right to the company at the center of this story, Skyrora. You can just feel the weight of this moment in the words from their CEO, Volodymyr Levikin. He said getting this license is a testament to the hard work and dedication of his whole team. You know, this isn't just some business deal. It's a massive achievement, and you can tell it's a real point of pride. Okay, so let's break down exactly what makes this specific green light so historic. Not just for this Scotland-based company, but for the entire UK. So here are the key facts. Skyrora is now the very first British company to get a license to launch from inside the UK. The approval comes from the Civil Aviation Authority, the CAA, and it gives them the go-ahead to launch from the brand-new Soxavord spaceport, which is way, way up in the remote Shetland Islands of Scotland. Right. Now, when you and I hear the word launch, we're probably picturing a massive rocket blasting off, heading for orbit around the Earth. But in the world of rocketry, the details really, really matter. So let's decode what this license actually allows. This license gets at a really critical difference, a suborbital hop versus an orbital lap. Think of it this way. A suborbital flight is like throwing a ball straight up, really, really high. It touches space, but it comes right back down. That's what Skyrora is licensed for right now. An orbital flight is like throwing that ball so fast that it just keeps falling around the Earth. That's the lap, and that's the ultimate prize for putting satellites in place. And the rocket that's going to be doing this hop is the Skylark-L. It's an 11-meter tall, so about 36 feet, suborbital rocket. But here's the key. This is not the final goal. You have to see this as a practice run. Every launch of this smaller rocket is a vital stepping stone on the path to their real objective, launching the much bigger orbital rocket called the Skylark XL. And this license gives them plenty of runway to practice. It allows for up to 16 launches a year. I mean, that's more than one launch a month. It shows they have a clear ambition to move fast, test their stuff, and learn quickly. So, okay, a company can launch a suborbital rocket from Scotland. Why is this such a huge deal? Well, it's because having this ability, what they call sovereign launch, fits into a much bigger strategic picture for the United Kingdom. According to Skyrora's CEO, it all comes down to three main pillars. First, it's about business. It gives UK companies a way to get their own tech into space without leaving the country. Second, it's about global influence. It helps the UK government hit its goal of being a major player in the space economy. And third, and this is a big one, it's about national security. Let's face it, you can't really be a serious spacefaring nation if you have to ask another country for a ride to orbit every time. But as with any big dream, celebrating the license is really just the beginning. The path from getting the paperwork signed to actually seeing a rocket lift off from the launch pad, well, that road is filled with challenges. This timeline kind of gives us a dose of reality. If you look back to 2022, a test launch of this very same rocket, the Skylark-L, actually failed during an attempt from Iceland. Now, fast forward to today, they've got the license, which is fantastic, but look at that last point. The earliest we might see a launch from the UK is the end of this year, and even that date is a long shot. The CEO himself has come out and said that a launch from the UK this year is, in his words, unlikely. And you know, that kind of honesty is pretty important in an industry where delays are just part of the process. So the clock is ticking. And it's important to remember that Skyrora is not doing this in a bubble. They are just one of several companies in what's becoming a very crowded and very competitive European space race. Yeah, just look at this landscape. It is fierce. So while Skyrora has its suborbital license, a German competitor, RFA, already has a UK license for an orbital launch. Then you've got Orbex, another British company, and here's a key detail. Both RFA and Orbex were chosen by the European Space Agency for a big development program. That's a major vote of confidence that Skyrora didn't get.
And this whole business is just brutal. It's not just about who has a piece of paper. Remember RFA, the German company? Their rocket actually exploded on a test stand. Another German company, ESAR Aerospace, saw its first attempt at an orbital launch fail. These aren't small hiccups. These are hugely expensive reminders that building and launching rockets is incredibly hard, and failure is a very real and very public part of the game.
So where does that leave us? Skyrora's license is, without a doubt, a massive and historic step for the UK. But it's clearly the starting pistol, not the finish line. With ferocious competition breathing down their neck and the unforgiving laws of physics to deal with, the big question remains. In this high-cost, high-risk race for the European skies, who's going to be the one to finally navigate all of it and deliver on their promise first?